I'm going to Georgia, so I wanted to like give you something to like, I don't know.
To remember him by?
Not really. Like he gave Brent like a fucking tub of protein powder because it was like
Nice.
going bad, and then he was like, "This doesn't really fit me too well anymore, so you can have it." And it's like a OG Lions, like it's got the old logo on it, and it's got I think on the side it says like Sports Illustrated. It's like a Sports Illustrated jacket.
That's weird. I didn't know magazines were making jackets.
I fuck with it though, dude.
All right, what would you rate your knowledge on interstellar objects, scale of 1 to 10?
2.
2?
2.
Not much, but lucky for you, that ring trues for most of civilization, actually. We've only seen 3 of them in the entire time that we've been observing space.
Just bounced off my phone. Sorry.
You're good. 3-eye Atlas, the most recent one that we discovered in July, barreling through the solar system right now. So I figured out the reason why they named it this.
Do you know the other names?
The first one was named Oumuamua. That one was like a very long cigar-shaped one. It was very weird because most comets aren't like this, but it was 10 times longer than it is wide. So it was spinning through space like a giant carrot, I guess. But they're called this. 3 is the third one. I for interstellar. Atlas is a series of a bunch of satellites around Earth that are constantly looking up at space for moving objects. Its entire, I forget what the acronym stands for, but its entire job is to try and identify things that could potentially slam into Earth, like comets, asteroids, stuff like that.
It'd be a fun job.
It's just, well, I don't even know if they're manned. It's like all it's kind of like computerized, and it'll just note stuff and then move on. It almost moved on with this most recent one, 3-eye Atlas, but it noticed it a couple more times, and it noticed it was kind of different than the rest of the stuff. It thought it was just like a normal moving object, but this one, like I said, is the third one. It is about twice as large as the first 2.
Is it long or is it like wide?
It's like egg-shaped, like a normal one, but it's moving 2 times faster than those other ones. And that's partially how we know that it's not from our solar system, because everything in our solar system, they said, moves at most about 20 miles per second for comets or asteroids.
Okay.
The Earth, as it revolves around the sun, moves at about 30 miles per second. And I think the closest one, Mercury, moves at about 48 miles per second. But this is moving at about 58 miles per second. So it's absolutely cooking, and it's huge.
That's a quick one.
Yeah. So the first 2 kind of came into our solar system. I was telling you, like, our solar system's on a disk. Most things in space, obviously space is 3-dimensional, but they tend to just be on a flat plane based on how gravity works. And the other 2 first ones came in kind of from the top. It's almost like we ran into those ones. But this one is weird because it's coming in from the side, perfectly like perpendicular to us. So it has a very good chance. It's going through like everything's orbit. But luckily, it's not going to come close to anything except for Mars. And even when it comes close to Mars, it's still going to be about, I think, 17 million miles away.
What color is it?
It's gray.
Metal looking? Does it look metal?
Well, it's partially metal. It's partially rock. And then a lot of it's carbon dioxide and ice water. So that's kind of what gives a comet its
life.
Not its life, but you're familiar with a comet when you see that string of vapor going off of it. That's what makes it a comet.
Yeah.
Because like an asteroid is just mainly rock, and that one, it just looks like a rock flying through space. But because the comet will have frozen ice water and frozen CO2 on it, when it gets closer to the sun, that will start evaporating off of it, which creates the trail. The trail is caused by like the solar wind pushing against it, but it's also kind of what creates some of its speed, as this gas is like expelling out from behind it, and it pushes it forward to make it go faster. So, like I said, it's the third one we've ever discovered. We can learn a lot from it, and we will in December. Right now, it's kind of obscured by the sun, but once it gets around it, we'll learn more. Like I said, it's not going to come close to Earth, but I watched a video on what would happen if it did, and it was talking about it in relation to the asteroid that destroyed Earth and knocked out all the dinosaurs. This one's smaller than that, but it's moving 4.5 times faster than it.
That'd be worse. I feel like that'd be worse.
Oh, it'd be significantly worse.
What did it say would happen? Would we just explode?
Pretty much. It said that, this blew my mind. It said that it would break through our atmosphere and reach the crust of the Earth, like, just land or whatever within 1 second.
Whoa.
That's how fast it's going, dude. Isn't that insane?
It'd just be like dang, bro. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it said like if we discovered this too late and it slammed into us, it said it would basically knock out 75, basically the entire side of the earth where it hits instantly just wiped out. And then the rest would die shortly thereafter from earthquakes, tsunamis, and the amount of like silt and dirt it would blow up into the atmosphere.
That's crazy.
It would basically launch us into a nuclear winter. And then once that died down, it would, because it was so much, it's made up of so much carbon dioxide, that would go into the atmosphere, which would make like the greenhouse effect, you know what I mean? Where heat gets trapped into our atmosphere and it would then get incredibly hot. So the global temperature would drop by 6 degrees for like 10 years and then it would raise by like 20 degrees. So whatever wasn't wiped out initially,
which is like 20%, which is
like 75% is dead.
Is dead?
Yeah. The asteroid that took out the dinosaurs, I think it was like 60%.
What would the protocol be, bro? Would we all try to hop in like a spaceship and just float out there for a day and then come back?
There's no spaceship that can handle that many people. We'd probably put some people in the International Space Station and we could probably get, I would guess, a couple hundred people into space. Like if we had minimal time to plan, I would imagine with SpaceX and what's the name of Jeff Bezos is? I always forget his space company.
I don't know.
Gemini maybe, but I imagine between their rockets and all of the rockets around the world, we could get like a couple hundred into space.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people, if you didn't have some sort of underground bunker with a bunch of food, humanity would be done.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
pretty crazy stuff.
Episode 22.
22.
I hate Taylor Swift.
I'm here with my friend Chris, who doesn't know the difference between a comet and an asteroid.
Honestly, I don't.
It's basically just what they're made out of. An asteroid's like mostly rock, but a comet has the liquid water or CO2, or not liquid, I'm sorry, frozen on there, and that's why it kind of expels from it, and it creates that cloud that you see with a comet.
Oh. The more you know. Learn something new every day, dude.
Yeah.
I'm here with my friend Joe, who lets tacos dominate him.
I only eat tacos from the side.
You turn the taco?
You got it, though.
I don't know if Chad knows about Scatabo was asking this question and we were talking about it. I was like, I got to ask Joe. I think I meet it halfway. I think I'm a halfway guy.
He was acting like he was mentally challenged on that clip.
A slight turn.
I'm sorry, I didn't think he might have more injuries than just his leg. But, so what was his point? You either eat it face on or from the side?
No, he's saying that if you turn your head for the taco, you're
being a sub?
Yeah, you let the taco dominate you. And if you eat it, if you just like turn the taco sideways and eat it sandwich style, then you're dominating the taco.
So it's better if you turn it sideways?
Yeah, he's saying it's more manly to turn it sideways and just eat it sideways.
All right. I would almost think that's the reverse. I guess I turn mine sideways. It depends on where I'm eating it at, though.
So you let it dominate you.
A lot of Mexican food, high risk for it getting all over you. So I'm trying to eat it in whatever way minimizes what's getting on me.
Yeah.
I also don't eat that many hard shell. I'm not a hard shell guy.
Yeah, true.
I go for soft shell burrito.
We're both soft shell guys, dude.
Hard shell guys. I'm not going to eat a burrito from the side.
Hard shell guys are skinny.
Yeah. I'm eating a burrito like it's corn on the cob. The side.
You remember that fake Justin Bieber picture that went viral of the guy eating? This guy dressed up as Justin Bieber on a random day in like New York, went to the park, sat down and ate a burrito sideways. and it went viral. Everyone was like, Justin Bieber eats his burrito like this. And it was like, then a video came out like a month or two later and it was like, we pranked the world by going viral on purpose about this. It was like some crazy shit.
He's an easy one to do before he's like addicted to crack.
Yeah, you just wear a hoodie and sweatpants and you look like Justin Bieber. I look like Justin Bieber all the time.
Yeah, but episode 22, keep on subbing, keep on liking the videos. We're still at 69, so 31 more subs until we get to Toledo. But we went viral the other day, mini viral, I'd say. About 3,000 combined views.
Yeah, Joe's been pumping some skits. I got to get on the skit grind a little bit.
Skits are going crazy.
But yeah, go follow us on all socials.
I'm basically doing nothing at work. 90% of my brain power is just committed to skits. Anything happens at work, I'm like, that's a skit. I'll be right back.
I just have had weird shit happening to me, dude.
What's going on, man?
I guess before I jump into what's been going on, we do have some new beers.
Yep.
We have Corona, Sunbrew Citrus Cerveza. That's a tongue twister, dude. Say that 10 times.
Sunbrew Citrus Cerveza. Anyways,
Sunbrew Citrus Cerveza.
I don't speak Spanish.
So it says brewed with real orange and lime peels with a splash of real orange and lime juice.
Yeah.
Definitely tastes like it. I've been sipping.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of this. I fucking hate trying to shove a giant slice of lime into my Corona.
Yeah, they give it to you way too big.
Every time they're looking at me like it's my fault. I didn't design this lime and
someone's getting poked in the eye with the lime juice spraying everywhere. Innocent bystander.
We're rating them on colors of leaves.
Yeah.
Trying to get festive out here.
It is. It's Thanksgiving time, which we're going to talk about today. But
it's Thanksgiving. The leaves are getting kind of dark and crispy, but this one makes me think of spring. It tastes nice, fresh. I'm going to give it like a nice green small leaf that just is sprouted.
I'm going to give it, dude, it's really got that punch. Like it punches you in the face, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So like the leaf I'm going to give it is those big red leaves. The ones that span far and wide. It looks like someone's putting their arms out to give you a hug type leaf.
When you were a kid in elementary school, did you ever have an assignment leaf book where you go and sketch them?
I forgot. I was just thinking about that, but you like no, dude, you didn't sketch them. You would like go outside. Yeah, you would put in ink, and then you would just have a book full of different leaves.
Yeah.
But then didn't you have to like go back and like write what type of leaf it was or some shit?
Yeah, the most menial knowledge that you could ever have. And the teacher that made me do that is the same one that said I was autistic. All right, lady, you're making us go around to discover different leaves. That's the most autistic shit I've ever heard.
That is extremely valid.
Whatever. So anyways, what the hell's been going on, Chris?
So yeah, man, I mean, I've been waiting to tell you about this story since yesterday at around 2 p.m. is when it happened.
A long time you had to wait.
And essentially I was at work just another day in the lab cooking up some numbers. And
another day at the construction factory.
And I'm talking to somebody at work, and then all of a sudden I hear like a big like bang, like a crash, or like it sounded like a crash. But like right after I heard the crash, I heard like a bunch of sirens. Like it was like way too short after, it was like crash siren. So it was like the cops were chasing whatever this guy was. So I run up to the window and look. We're on like it's 5th floor, but it's a pretty tall building. So you can kind of oversee the road that it's on in Detroit. And this guy, when I was watching out the window, what he did was he drove over the median. Car rolled, flipped, and he like jumped out of the car and then started running from the cops.
You saw all of that?
I saw it from the point because I heard the car like roll, and then I got up and I saw him like getting out and running.
So was the car normal car position when you saw it? Like when he was getting out, or was it upside down?
It rolled and landed, but like all the windows were smashed and shit.
That's a sick move though.
I think it rolled. Maybe he just like crashed it and lost control, but everyone was saying that it rolled like 3 times. And I definitely heard some banging. Yeah. So it like went into the wrong side of traffic, and then like went across that into like a grass field conveniently, and then just like stood up straight. You know what I mean? And then he got out, and somebody was saying that they saw 2 people run out. I only saw 1 guy run out. And I mean, to be honest with you, we saw him run down the street about a quarter mile, and it was crazy because like when I say there was cops chasing him, there was like 8 cops already. Like everyone's swarming. They like are like all like trying to. There's cops that are going through the grass field to the other street just in case he turns left so they can cut him off. Like they're all hitting him from different angles. There's like a SWAT team. We watched like 4 undercovers pull up, but this guy runs like a quarter mile down the street, turns left on Mac, and then just pop, 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 3 shots.
Yeah,
they killed him, I think, but I don't know.
Well, he was armed though, right? At the time, the article that you had sent me said he was returning fire on the cops. Yeah,
I think so. I didn't. We just because like when he turned the corner was when we lost sight, and then it was literally he turned the corner and it was pop, pop, pop. Like they were waiting there for him. So
I just don't want to have it be a whole thing like they could have just got him. But from what you sent me, so 2 things that the article or the Instagram post you sent me said was. The police pulled a maneuver. They're trained for these chases like that. Yeah. And they pulled a maneuver that caused him to flip the car. And then when he got out, or I think while he was driving, he was returning fire. But I think also while he was running, he was. So he was armed, and obviously it was something that you had to take care of. But
exactly.
You said
and they knew
he was on a tirade, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they must have known. Like, and it was a stolen car.
Yeah, well, so he started off in a different car, and then he
fuck.
stopped halfway through the chase to carjack somebody else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Literally GTA.
Yeah, I was saying this guy's living real life GTA. That's what I was thinking.
But what was he doing before that?
I don't know the exact story, like all the details, but they said he's shot 10 people in 10 days. I don't know if anyone's died, but like it said like 3 of them were like he actually like hit somebody and they had to go to the hospital, and then the rest were just like drive by, like shoot into someone's window.
What the fuck?
Like insane, bro.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I think what happened, because like I actually drove by it today when I was getting lunch at this really good spot named Rocco's. Great sandwiches. You guys need good sandwiches in Detroit, go to Rocco's. Not sponsored, but I wish I was sponsored.
Side note, maybe that's where he was going.
And
if I'm going out, I'm going out with the bang. 1 steak sandwich, please hurry.
I'm going out with that chicken parm, dude. But no, he turned the corner, and like I don't know, it was gated, so like he had nowhere to go because he was getting from both sides, and just probably to your point, probably pulled something, and they probably saw him reaching, and then whatever. I'm not going to speculate, even though I already did.
Well, I think in a situation like this, based on the context of what he was doing before that, it's fair to say he's a bad person. He deserved to probably die.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
due process. But yeah. I mean, if that is true,
exactly. So that happened yesterday. It does feel like I haven't seen you in a while. I was just thinking about that. Like,
yeah, it's been a little bit.
And it feels like we haven't been here in a while. It feels good to be back like here.
I know.
I'll say, because
comfy couch, back in my butt groove.
I don't know. It felt a little off. So the day before that happened yesterday, so 2 days ago, I went to the Wings game.
Let's start at the end, and we'll work our way back to the
That's
beginning.
what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of like go reverse order.
Okay.
Well,
my name's Chris. You're probably wondering how I ended up here.
Well, I guess, do you want reverse order? Because I could go last night.
Keep it rolling. What the hell went down on Thursday?
Well, actually, all right, we'll just bounce around. We'll just go crazy. So I just went to a Wings game, dude. Wings won. Good game. Girlfriend took me. Great time. But like halfway through, never had this happen before. Halfway through, someone at my job texted me. Was like, "Yo, come to the suite. Come to the suite." They're in a suite. So we went, and also we were sitting by the 2 largest people of all time. That one had like restless leg syndrome, and he was like shaking his knee on me the whole game.
Was it a barn burner? Or was he nervous?
Well, in the first period, it was 0-0, and then we went to the suite. The game ended like 6-3 or like 6-4. Like everyone was scoring. So.
He was spotting out the over. He probably had like 5 G's on it.
Probably. And then we get to the suite though, and they had this cart that was like giving you sweet treats. Like you could get like any sweet treat you wanted, dude. They had ice cream, but they also had all these different cakes and like pastries and whatever. And they had like liquor behind it. So my brain immediately was like, whoa, what's that for? Like, what are people doing with that? So I said, can I get a scoop of vanilla ice cream and 2 shots of Bailey's? Mixed it all together. It was pretty good.
That's a freak.
But everyone wanted to get ice cream because they were giving out 100-year anniversary cups. It's free souvenir cups. They're pretty sweet.
So you kept it?
Yeah. Kept the cup.
It's all sticky and.
Was
it a plastic cup?
I like finished it all, drank it all. There was a sink in the suite, washed it out in the sink, and then took it home.
I'm picturing some disintegrating ass fucking paper cup.
No, it's like rubber. It's like bendy.
Okay.
It's like rubber bendy. I don't know how to
explain.
Wait,
100-year anniversary of the Wings?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They have like cool hoodies and like stuff like that going around for it.
Maybe we should put everything on them to win it.
Yeah, that's
100-year Annie.
I want to do a future bet. Like we should decide that today.
Yeah. Speaking of future, the only time I was ever in a suite, I was with Sierra Wilson.
Sierra Wilson?
Yeah, I told you that story.
I don't remember. Tell it.
Yeah, I was at the Steelers-Lions preseason game, and I was obviously rooting for Russ and like watching the Lions or whatever. Yeah. Marissa was like, "Oh my God, Russ's whole family is behind us or whatever," and I just slyly turned around my Steelers hat so they would see it, and I was trying to see if they would notice me.
Did you say anything?
No, I was way too scared. Bragged about it though. Russ went down there, first drive, scoring drive.
Damn.
I was going crazy.
Yeah,
I was like, let's go.
You trying to turn around, high five, and doing what you can.
Their kids were just playing like Fruit Ninja on their phone. They didn't give a fuck. But are those Futures kids, or what the hell's going on? I don't know that whole story.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
There's something about Russ getting cucked by Future, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I think he hooked up with her.
Yeah. So are those his kids, though?
I don't know.
That's why I segued with, speaking of Future. I don't know.
It's an insane segue.
Not my QB. Don't need him anymore. I'll rather take Aaron Rodgers with his fake wife.
Don't mean to be bouncing around, but last weekend, I went to a concert. I went to Gorgon City, which is like kind of EDM, and it's like UK. It's like UK EDM. So they got like vocals and shit. They got like chopped. UK type EDM has like chopped vocals.
Yeah, it's kind of like chopped and screwed.
Yeah, I guess you could say.
I don't know.
But no, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was my first time at Russell Industrial Center, which is literally like an abandoned warehouse in Detroit that they just have concerts at, which was pretty cool. The craziest part about it was they only had one bathroom. So I was in line for like 30 minutes at one point, and then
for probably it's got to be like a 10,000 person venue.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there, and I don't even know how to explain it, but I was like waiting in line, and I somehow come across this guy that said he's been on the radio for like, he's literally been broadcasting on the radio for, I think he said like 18 years, 17 years or something. And me and my girlfriend just started collecting stickers when we went to that beer festival. And I was like, yo, like, that's crazy. Do you have any like promo? Like, do you have anything like on you that I can like look it up? And he's like, I got stickers. I was like, oh, hell yeah, give me these stickers. I wish I brought them because I forgot what his name is, but you know,
old school disc jockey.
Yeah, he said he just spins, like he plays his vinyls on the radio. So that was kind of funny. And then the weird part about it is it was kind of like nice when we went in there. And this is like the latest concert I've ever been to. The main people, I really like the guy that came on right before the main people, so I didn't really care. But the main people didn't come on until 1 a.m. and they played until 3, like 3:15. And then we were leaving, but when we got there, like I said, it was nice. When we were leaving, full snow. It was snowing like crazy. And then we just like hopped in the Uber, went home, like whatever. But
very inconvenient for it to snow that weekend.
Yeah. It was a good, it was just random. It was like just so nice and then randomly snowed. But also that day, it was my girlfriend and I's anniversary. I got in the kitchen. And I was
What anniversary?
6 months. Yeah, I know.
Damn,
it's a long time.
That's crazy.
Dude. It's a long time. Well,
like episode 5, dude.
She's been there, bro. Been around for the eps.
Yeah,
been around through a lot, but it feels longer than it has, but in a good way. But either way, I made steak sandwiches before, and they were great. I just grill up the steaks, cut up an onion, put an onion in a pan with some mushrooms, put some balsamic vinegar in there, let that thing, saute, some would say, and then rip the steaks, rip the bread in the oven. It was great. Put some Havarti cheese on top. Phenomenal sandwich. Cut those steak into little strips,
Yeah.
Really good. So I had that before, and then there's enough for leftovers. So like 3:30, 4 in the morning, I'm eating a steak sandwich. It was great.
It's not healthy.
It was wonderful.
I'd rather have a beef and cheddar.
And then really only other thing that happened is my girlfriend had friends in town from Chicago. So just last night, you can probably hear my voice a little raspy, but went out last night, just a classic night in Detroit. But the funny part about it, Joe met the guy too last week when we were in Chicago.
I befriended him. I tried to.
Yeah, because he's tall. That's the moral of the story is this guy is literally 6'9".
How tall is he?
6'7", dude. 6'7". Let's look at the camera for an edit. Ready?
Clip that.
3, 2, 1.
6'7". All right.
Clip that.
I'm 26, not even mullet, just at 6'7". God take me.
If you made it this far, unsubscribe.
Yo, sub for that shit, dude. Not many people out here doing it like us hitting the 6.
Oh, I forgot to talk about that. At the Wings game, every single kid they put on the Jumbotron was just doing that. Yeah. I swear, it was crazy.
Honestly, now I'm praying that AI makes it so nobody has to work anymore, because imagine this workforce when all they know is not going to school from COVID and dumbass TikTok 6'7".
Yeah, for real. So they were like primarily doing that, but then there was like all these like, whenever there's a group of like 4 or more like little boys together, they would all take their shirts off. They would all take their shirts off and like wave them around or just like touch their nipples or like whatever. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's
crazy behavior. And everyone I just like to play devil's advocate in every situation, but I looked.
So they can do it, but if I take my shirt off and touch my nipples, I'm a pervert.
I just sounded weird because like the people next to us on both sides were both like I can't believe they're encouraging this behavior by putting them on the jumbotron and keep putting them on time and time again. And I like loudly say to my girlfriend, I'm like, I really like that they keep putting these kids on there. I think it's pretty funny, and I think they should do whatever they want. And
stirring the pot for no reason.
Yeah, and then my girlfriend's like, "Oh, so you like shirtless little boys up there, Chris? Like, why are you saying this?"
Yikes!
I'm like, "Yeah, good point. So forgot about that, but we did go out with this guy. I got distracted from the 6'7" joke, but we did go out with this guy last night who's 6'9". Which is absurd. I only had one other friend, like true friend, who was 6'11" in high school. I actually played like baseball with him growing up. Is he dead?
Yeah.
No, he's still around. He plays basketball. He's in some like random league right now, but he played for the Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remember that guy? I think he played basketball in Rochester Hills maybe, but he was supposed to be a really good basketball player, but he was that huge, tall, freak stick bug guy.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't play basketball anymore, and they just made him be the alien in the Alien vs. Predator movie, and they didn't even CGI him. They just like painted him a weird color, and they're like, "Oh, look at this freak."
Yeah.
I think we talked about that in the pod, but honestly, there is definitely a upper threshold to being tall where you are just a freak.
Yeah, it's that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Is I don't understand, because like when you're tall, essentially your life is just, you're either playing basketball and you're a guy, and we're not going to talk about tall women, but when you're a guy and you're freakishly tall, we'll say above 6'8", 6'9", I don't know, like we are like freakishly tall, then you have this like 2 option type, or maybe 3 option type life almost. Like so many of them just play basketball because it's unfair and they're so much better than everybody. You know what I mean? So like play basketball, get a scholarship, cheat code.
I mean, look at Zach Edey. I wouldn't say he's necessarily athletic.
That's what I'm saying. Taller. I don't think that these people even love basketball. I think they just played because they're like, I might get some free shit from it, or like I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, get a scholarship.
Exactly. Like, they say get good grades, but they tell tall people just go play basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
so I just think that's the case. To your point, tall people could also be like play weird roles in movies or like do that, but that's very niche.
Should be weird alien stick bugs.
It's very niche and rare. And then it's always like you never see a tall guy not doing anything with his life. You never see a really extremely tall homeless guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it would be pretty easy to spot.
I agree. But no, I don't know. It just feels like they get really pushed.
If you were a small homeless guy, you could sneak in a little rock crevice or something and find some shelter. You're just walking by an underpass and you clearly see like 4-foot long legs sticking out of a hole in the ground.
Yeah, he's just tripping people that are walking by.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it just feels weird that they all play basketball, dude. Like none of them.
You have to.
And then I also started thinking
that or like car salesman.
I also started thinking that like basketball is the only sport that like truly you get a very good competitive advantage just from your height. Like that's the only thing. Like obviously a little bit in football, but you still got to do a lot of other things. Like basketball, you literally could just stand by the rim, get a pass, like your Yao Ming's height. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty unique to that sport. I mean, football, it is definitely now everybody's. That's why short quarterbacks used to not be an issue. Linemen were built like you and me, but now, I mean, the linemen are all 6'5", so the quarterback needs to be able to see over that. That's what, I mean, dude, I feel like in our lifetime is when quarterbacks that size became popular. Like Flacco's huge, Josh Allen's huge, like all those tall quarterbacks. Like it's out of necessity.
Yeah, but you also have like that's the only position in football that benefits like extremely. Like receiver, but like you still got to catch. You still got to do other shit. Like basketball, you don't have to do that much. You can just be tall and like you're like putting your hand in the rim.
Be able to make it up and down the court.
He's just
Wimby's a different story though. He is huge, but he is an athletic freak. Yeah. Did you hear that story about how he went to go train with monks to clear his mind, and then he came back ultimate ball control now. He's wetting threes. He's having a great
he's
season.
having an insane year.
And he just went and sat with Monks.
I did not know that.
It's insane.
That's what I would do.
Thank God for basketball. For freakishly tall people, though, I'm trying to think of career paths if you were that tall back in the 1800s. It was be a freak at a circus.
Yeah.
Look at this freakishly tall guy, and you'd get paid like a cent a month.
Yeah. They would just put you in a cage, and they'd be like, look at this fucking guy. Look how tall that guy is. It's not real.
Right.
I don't know. It's wild. It's weird to think about, too. And then, I still believe in, like, the really tall giants from back in the day, too.
Which we've discussed. I think we actually had this argument in the group chat because I looked up who was the tallest guy of all time and who was the shortest person of all time. I think that the tallest guy of all time is like 7'9", and the shortest guy of all time was like 3'6". Yeah. And I was asking which one you'd rather be. Yeah. And everyone was saying tall, but dude, nobody thinks about the fact it's better to be shorter. It makes you live longer. Tall people die young from I think it's called gargantuism. So typically tall people will die like in their 20s, 30s, or at least lose like all mobility. But that short guy, he lived until he was like 80.
That's fair.
I'd be 3'6".
I don't really care how long. I would rather be tall. Well, I actually asked the guy that's 6'9" last night.
When are you gonna die?
At the urinals. I was like, if you could choose your height, you could go back and you could pick your height. How tall would you be? And he said, I would be the same height. And I was like, really? You have to bend to get through the doors, though. Like, you have to bend over to get through every doorway. And he's like, yeah, but you get used to it. I'm like, what?
He's a liar. The
fuck?
Perfect height is 6'2", I would say.
I don't know. 6'5", 6'3".
6'5" might be.
6'2", you're not even that tall.
Well, it's the perfect tallness, though. It's where you still get the attractive boost and you still get the benefits of it, but you don't have to buy freakishly large clothes or buy a longer sized bed. You don't struggle fitting into cars. I feel like 6'5", you'd run into that.
Yeah.
3 inches makes a big difference, pal.
Yeah. You would know, but what I'll say is you also get a freak competitive or like athletic advantage if you're 6'5" over 6'2".
But I think because of those people you see it happen a lot where those tall people never have to actually train at basketball because they get away with it in high school and then even someone in college just because they're so tall, and they don't end up making in the league because they never practice shooting or ball handling or anything like that, and they just coasted their entire life. I'd rather be a 5'8" grinder, dude. Go out there, and I go into the league, and I know the ins and outs. I got dribble moves.
You are 5'8", dude.
Spud Webb, dude.
Aren't you 5'8"? How tall are you?
5'8". Yeah. Spot on, brother.
See, I'm 6 feet tall, so.
You don't look it. There's no way you're 4 inches taller than me, though.
You definitely do.
That's cap.
I'm definitely much taller than you.
Not much.
Much taller.
Okay.
Many inches taller.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. What else? What else happened to you?
No, that's pretty much all I wanted to go through, bro. I know you said, I know you were getting spooked or something. Yeah,
this is my first time drinking since last time we recorded in Chicago, but kind of precursor to why I said it sucked that it snowed that weekend. I was up north in Roscommon. I was moving, like clearing out my grandma's house and taking out like all the old shit. It's a pretty decent sized house with like a double car garage. You cannot fathom the amount of stuff that was in there. I think it was 20 truckloads of donations and a full 10-yard dumpster. And then like 8 full trash cans.
That is so much, dude.
Yeah, so we were sifting through all this stuff, and like she just kept everything. So a lot of it was stuff from like the 60s. Some of it was cool, don't get me wrong. Like a lot of my dad's old scrapbooks. Dude, a bunch of people in my family were saying I used to look just like him, but it's so funny because they would just pull up this picture where he looked like a freak. He would have like a perm and sideburns down to here, just goofy kind of like 70s or 80s hairstyle. And everyone was like, he looks just like Joe. And I was like, I do take a lot of creative liberties with my hair. I must have got it from him. Mm-hmm. There was a little doll. This thing was so weird. It was like a weird looking dude in a trench coat. When you opened it up, he had a little penis and a butt. Like, what the hell is this? Must have been like a gag gift or something. But so anyways, like we're clearing all this stuff out, and now it gets so dark. So in the morning on Saturday, we did like the donation runs, and then the rest of the time we were just throwing shit in the dumpster.
Yeah.
But it got dark at like 5 p.m. And George and my dad were mainly like sorting through stuff. What is this? Trash or keeping? Blah blah blah. And my job was to run stuff out to the dumpster where it was pitch black outside. And do you remember that episode of SpongeBob where he has to take out the trash? He like runs out there and throws it and sprints back. Yeah. So I am scared of the dark, but what kind of compounded this was I've been watching listening to a lot of scary podcasts, and I told my dad about my favorite one. I knew he would love it, and I thought he would maybe throw on one episode to check it out. But from like 9 a.m. that day until we wrapped up at 2 a.m., he just played every episode of this scary podcast. And they were so busy looking through stuff that they weren't paying attention. But I was just listening to this like in the corner, getting more and more scared, and then running out to the dumpster and like throwing stuff away and sprinting back in. It was horrifying, dude.
That's so funny.
But it was definitely a long day's work. And then, yeah, I woke up on Sunday and it was snowing. And me and George are carrying out these like massive oak dressers to the neighbors because he wanted them. And it was just hell on earth, man. Slipping, eating shit.
Dude, were you falling?
Kind of, but I mean, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I never throughout my life have thought that I'm necessarily strong or, I mean, you know, that stuff you define yourself as a man, right? I have the ability to help somebody move all their stuff. I can be the guy that picks up the heavy stuff. Yeah. Never was good at that, but since I've been grinding at the gym, held my own, I was like, Dad, take this one off.
Yeah.
But then George would be like, my elbows hurt, so me and my dad would take it. Shout out, George. No shade, no shade. We'll see if he's watching that, because he'll comment. But no, I was a beast. I was definitely sore.
No, it does feel good when you can move shit. Like, you know, your girlfriend's like, hey, can you move this couch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll move whatever it takes. But, no, damn, man. I know it's a lot. It's like exhausting.
The one positive, I was obviously wearing my shittiest clothes up there because it was just everything was like dusty, and like her garage had so much stuff in there that there was like mice and stuff. We didn't find any mice, but like my shit basically. Yeah. So I knew it was going to be gross. So I was wearing my shittiest clothes. And remember that crew neck I bought that was the Red Wings logo, but it was pizza and wings? Yeah. I wore that up there. And then we were going up to the donation place, and this like super old lady that was working it comes out and she goes, "Oh, I like your hoodie." I was like, thank you. Nobody has ever said that. I appreciate that.
That is so funny.
She's trying to flirt with me.
How old do you think she was?
Old.
She wanted it, dude. Maybe. She wanted it. She definitely wanted it.
She did.
That's so funny. But no, dude, speaking of family, pizza, wings.
It's a great segue.
We got a big holiday coming up. Me and Joe's favorite holiday. Joe and I's favorite holiday. Thanksgiving, man.
Thanksgiving. I'll just get down to the brass tacks of it, man. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because night before Blackout Wednesday, you get to hang out with either your best friends right now, or if you go back home, a bunch of people you haven't seen in forever. You just get absolutely trashed. It's probably in a place where the bars are cheap too if you're in a hometown.
Yeah.
And then great time. You wake up in the morning, die on your parents' couch all day, hungover.
Yeah.
You're snacking on the food. My mom's always making food. I'm eating it while she's making it. She's yelling at me saying, "You got to save some. People aren't even here yet."
Yeah.
It's gone by the time
if you're lucky, a nice Bloody Mary in the morning too.
Right. Yeah. Ooh. Crushing Angry Orchards. My dad keeps the fridge stocked with Angry Orchards. I got diabetes by noon. But I'm crushing all the food, and you just get to watch football all day.
Yeah.
By far the best holiday.
It is. It really is. And you're like, usually I feel like the lines have been on like during dinner. I feel like the last couple of years, like the game's on like, I don't know what time it was last year, but like it was going, I think the Bears game was going late too.
Yeah.
Last year we almost lost. And then, yeah, man.
How lucky are we though that our team
gets to play every year?
Every year.
Yeah, it is nice.
It was some deal they made. I forget the specifics.
I was going to ask about that. I didn't know that it was a thing that's the same teams every year. Well, it's just the same 3 teams play, and then they alternate in all the other 3.
I have no idea how they negotiated that, but yeah, ever since I can remember, we played on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I love it though. I mean, I hope it stays that way forever. If I was another team, I'd be jealous.
I mean, we wouldn't have said that a few years ago though. We hadn't won on Thanksgiving for like 10 years straight until, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You cracked me another one.
Yeah, I already did my bad.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, man, I mean, you can't get better than that, and it's all like the heartiest food. You know what I mean?
What would you say is your favorite food?
Green bean casserole or stuffing. I'm a sides guy.
I love love stuffing.
I don't like
dude.
chicken or turkey. Are you guys like a traditional like chicken or turkey?
We do every year. We do turkey, and then my grandma like is a sample lady and answers the phones at Honey Baked Ham.
Oh yeah.
So watch out, watch out.
No, that's fine.
Oh,
it spelled a little.
But she gets a free ham every year.
That's lit.
So we go
free ham's lit, bro. Those boys aren't cheap.
We go ham, one turkey.
You guys go ham?
We go ham. And my grandma's, it's so funny hearing her Honey Baked Ham stories. Like people literally buy a turkey or buy a ham, cook it or do whatever, heat it up, and then they serve it, and then they go, "We didn't like it. Like, can we get a refund?" She's like, "You already ate it. Like, what are you saying? Like,
yeah.
Who does that?"
It pisses me off when people are like, "Oh, we just do ribeyes for Thanksgiving. Why would we have dry turkey?" It's the fucking holiday.
We'll do our good dinner for like Easter. We'll do like a nice like ribeye or steak or something for Easter.
We're still pretty classic for Easter. We do ham for Easter and then turkey for Thanksgiving. But I'm a huge sides guy. I love rolls. Yeah. I love green bean casserole. I love stuffing.
Ooh, do you ever get the? Sometimes we do like the little Hawaiian rolls, but sometimes we do the what do you call them, bro? They come in like the cans. You have to like. They're not croissants, but what are they?
Crescent rolls.
Crescent rolls.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. And then I love a good cheesy potato, dude. Either cheesy potato, scallop potato, mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is great. Cheesy potatoes and candied yams are my two no-goes. I will never eat those.
I don't know if it's considered candied yams, but my mom makes these like sweet potatoes that are pretty good.
I think it's like candied if you put like brown sugar on it and it has like marshmallows on the
marshmallows.
top.
Yeah, that is what it is.
I don't like it, bro. That's not something you should be eating at the same time.
No, it's like a dessert.
Yeah.
It's I'll get a little tiny piece, eat it at the end, and then I'll also like eat it at home like for leftovers after like as a dessert.
Oh, the leftover wrap, bro. You always pro tip out there, buy tortilla shells before Thanksgiving so that way when you get all the leftovers, you put that shit into a fine paste, warm it up, and then throw that in a tortilla shell. Yeah. You can't go wrong there, but my mom always makes my plate for me, and I always act so coy because like everyone will get theirs, and I already have finished mine because she makes mine first, and then she's like, "Joe, do you want more?" I'm like just staring. Obviously, I want more. Yeah, but by the time dessert rolls around, I'm just disgustingly
I want
large.
to throw up on the couch. My stomach's gonna explode, and then I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take 2 pieces of pumpkin pie."
Yeah, luckily though, I always grew up in a position where I can wear a sweatsuit to holidays.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about wearing jeans and a sweater.
I don't have to go crazy either. That's how I want my family to be. I just want to be comfy on holidays. But,
right.
Speaking of, I'm just excited. Sorry, go ahead.
You getting into it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of Native Americans and the settlers, talking about the lost colony of Roanoke, man. The first British outpost.
Before we establish this, I need some background, just a quick history lesson, perhaps. Who was in America first?
Country-wise?
Like
actually not Native Americans?
We had Native Americans, so we had like Indians that were just living off the land forever.
Correct. So they were there.
No one knows when they got here?
Well, the theory is that they came across from Russia, across I forget the name of it, but there used to be an ice land bridge that connected Russia to Alaska. And that's how they think originally people got over to North America. But if we're talking like exterior country-wise, the Vikings, we believe, came here first.
Okay.
And then the first country to really set their roots in North America was Spain. Okay. After Columbus came over here. So Spain kind of has most of the area actually around where Roanoke is, Virginia, kind of North Carolina area. They already had a lot of outposts there. And that's part of the reason why when they were setting up their first permanent colony, that's why they chose Roanoke. Because Roanoke initially, now it's a city in Virginia in the mainland, but Roanoke was an island kind of off the mainland, and it was kind of shielded so that you couldn't see it from
Outer
the Spanish.
Banks is what it was saying, right? It's kind of like swamp-like.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's why they chose it, though, so it would be guarded from the Spaniards. But I forget the name of the first guy that went out there, but he goes out there to set up the first colony. It's him and I think it's like 40 people maybe.
I think it was like John White.
John White's the second guy that establishes the more permanent one.
Yeah.
So they go out there and set up the first colony, or they do an expedition to see if this is a good spot. And they make pretty good relations with the local Indians. They're communicating, they're helping each other out, and they get permission to establish a colony here. So he goes back, gets permission from the queen, and then I think it might have been Francis Drake. But anyways, they go back there and set up the first permanent one. But this was strictly kind of like a fort, like a military outpost. So it was only men, and there was about 40 of them. But quickly, relations between them and the Indians turned south.
Yeah.
Because they ended up running out of food pretty quickly. They started relying on the Indians too much. There wasn't enough to go around. So tensions kind of got hostile. And the governor of the fort, as well as the chief of the Indian tribe, started being very suspicious of each other.
Yeah.
So the governor of the fort thought that the Indians were plotting on them. He decided to strike first. And he goes and he murks a bunch of them on the mainland.
Yeah. I did hear that.
So that's kind of how it starts there. Tensions get hostile.
So then like they kind of dissolve out for a little bit and then they go back with a bunch of people.
Well, the Indians kind of form a counter mission and they come back and murk everyone and they kind of like escape out of there. Okay. So like, well, the three guys go back and they're like, oh, we should go back. In the meantime, though, the Indians kill everyone while they're gone. But the main guy goes back, convinces them that they should make the permanent outpost there. And that's where John White comes into play because he's going to be the governor of the new one. So he is going out there. There's a bunch of ships, and they were never actually supposed to go back to Roanoke because tensions with the Indians had gotten so hostile that they were going to go to somewhere in the Chesapeake Bay. But the navigator on the voyage was a more experienced seaman, so the crew kind of respected him more. So he just dropped him off on Roanoke, and everyone was like, yeah, we trust this guy. So that's where they all go. But while they were going to be there, oh, wait, no, this was on the original. Wait, now I'm blinking. Was it on the original or this one where the flagship kind of struck a shoal and a bunch of their supplies got ruined?
Yeah,
was this on the second one?
No, it was the first one.
Okay. So
it was like right away.
Yeah, so a bunch of their...
So, yeah, like they had a separate ship that was just supplies and food and everything, pretty much. And that's how I understand it. There was one ship with all the people, like, and they said a couple hundred people, right?
It was originally supposed to be, I think, 400 people. And then, men, women, and children.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were all on the same ship or multiple ships, but I think what happened was like the first people ship got there, and then all the like food and supplies and everything that they're going to use crashed. And then when like the first ship got there, they're like, we can't have as many people as we thought be here. So I think like they were like, you guys can't come if you're on the second ship.
Right. So I mix up the first. The first one was only military. It was only men. This one, it had a bunch of men, women, and children. And because they lost so many supplies, they had to dramatically reduce the scope of what they were doing. So it got down to 100 people. And that kind of plays into this. They get out there and they start making the colony. But they quickly realize this amount of people with the supplies that we have is not going to be enough. Yeah. Because they don't even have enough people to be self-sufficient. To, even past the supplies they had, they couldn't start making their own agriculture and stuff like that. So they convinced John White to go back to England to get more supplies and more people for the colony. Yeah. And he initially did not want to go because he thought he would be classified as a deserter. They eventually convinced him. So a little bit of pre-shadowing. Before he goes, he tells them, well, they have two plans cooking up, right? Because they know that tensions are a little hostile. A neighboring island over there called Croatoan, they have better relations with the natives. So that was one potential escape route.
The tribe there was called the Hateras.
So there's the Croatoans and then the Hetero. What was it? Heteros?
Heteros.
So that was a secondary one that came over because I guess there was a storm that made it accessible from the mainland. So those were not native there. It doesn't really matter. But the secondary plan was to make a permanent fort 50 miles into the mainland. Yeah. So those were their two escape routes. And he told them, if they got into any trouble, just leave them a sign of where they went. Yeah. Then he goes back. When he gets back to England, he finds that they are at war with Spain, and the Queen is telling him that no ships can leave because they need all their resources at home. Yep. So he's not allowed to go back for 3 years.
Which is a long time back then.
It's a long time. Any time, dude. Fuck, 3 years. So after the 3 years, the war's over. He finally is able to go back, but he's just basically booked like a passenger ticket on a ship that's going over there. And he's like, yo, can you just pop by Roanoke, see what's going on over there? Yeah. And when he gets there, he gets on the land. He finds nobody there. The grass is overgrown. Everything's looted. So clearly nobody's been living there for a long time. Right. And he sees a tree with the engraving of Croatoan on it. Yeah. symbolizing the escape plan worked. They left him a sign. They probably went over there. And as he goes back to the ship, he says, we got to go to Croatoan. But as they're about to sail, their secondary anchor breaks. So they can't make their way over there because they feel like it's unsafe because the waters there are treacherous. And then they have to return home. And they never end up going over to Croatoan.
Yeah. So in theory, the reason this is a fun story is nobody knows what happened to the hundreds of people that were there.
Yep.
Really,
so
it's never been, they can't confirm it.
They actually never found the remains of the original 40. They believe that, they talked to the Croatoans and they said that the other Indians did come over and try and kill them, and they killed 3 people. And the theory is that they tried escaping on a boat, probably going back to England, and they all died at sea. But the crazy part is there was probably about 140 people when he went back, just from the years and people having kids and whatnot. There wasn't remains of anybody when he went back. So they all
that's the weird part. There's no evidence. It did say when I was reading on it that the buildings looked like they weren't demolished or like burned down, but they like had removed the wood to like take it somewhere else to like build a house somewhere else. Like it looked like they just took the stuff that they needed and like went. I'm also assuming back in, this is in 1580, 1590 or whatever. I'm assuming these were tents that they were living in.
No, they could build pretty sophisticated wooden housing back then.
Really?
Not sophisticated, but it was wooden housing shelter.
Like little tiny cabins type shit?
Yeah. Okay. It was a pretty decent setup, so you wouldn't die from the elements, basically. But
yeah.
So kind of like we were saying, one escape hatch was Croatoan, and like Chris.
So the Hereteros, or the Heteros were friendly tribe, friendly tribe to these settlers, and they were the ones that were sharing with them. They were the ones that were sharing the food. They were the ones that were sharing like whatever. I did think it was funny when reading on it. They're like, they basically were like, they didn't plant anything. They didn't do any agriculture, which I'm like, if you're going to start a new land in a new society, that would be the first thing I would do is plant a fucking apple tree, is what I was thinking. Like something that's going to give me food in the future. I'm going to plant that day one so that we can start having food for the people. Like how they were just expecting to live off these rations that they had. And then they're like, oh, we don't have them. We're going to live here still. Like that's crazy.
It wasn't all thought out.
I will say that, but there was 2 other tribes that they said lived like 50 miles away. That those were like the unfriendly tribes, or like they were the ones that were beefing with the military or whatever.
Yeah, it was the ones on Roanoke, and then a lot of the ones on the mainland were very hostile and did not like them. Yeah. Which part of this was because obviously Europeans came over with antibodies for viruses that they did not have, so a lot of the natives were dying from diseases, and they were very hesitant to interact with them because of that. They thought that they could shoot magic bullets to kill them.
Well, when the military, like when those 40 guys were there that died and everything prior, I think when they got there, they were like giving diseases to everybody, and everyone was dying.
That's why they called it like a genocide of the locals. Yeah. Like, way more of them died from disease unknowingly. We didn't know that was gonna.
Well, they said
I should say we.
There's like reports of them saying like we thought that they had like invisible bullets or like invisible darts, and it was really just disease.
They weren't too far off though. I mean, it really kind of probably seemed like that.
Yeah.
But so the 2 kind of weird theories about this. Obviously, they weren't there. They, potentially maybe they tried going back to England and died. But the more interesting aspects are the what is it? Heteros?
Heteros.
Heteros.
H-A-T-T-E-R-A-S.
100 years later, another explorer was kind of talking to them, and the chief of that tribe was telling him that a lot of them have kind of paler skin. Some of them have gray eyes, which are distinctly European traits.
Yeah.
And that they had stories about their ancestors that could read and write, and they also had stories of a ghost ship.
Yeah.
So that would lead a lot of people to believe that that's where they went, and they kind of just integrated into their population.
Which is what I think too. I think they found, like you said, they knew that they could speak the language. They looked a little different. They like, it sounds like they just...
Yo, low-key, these Indians are bad as fuck.
But yeah, I mean, I think they were saying that they found. Well, actually, no, never mind. I thought they were saying they found like clothes or some certain things that were like from like I don't know, that were more European, but
they did nothing that would link them to the colony. But they found like the hilt of a sword. They found some like artifacts that would have been European, but I mean, they could have got there from several different sources.
Right.
So the secondary aspect, I was talking about that fort 50 miles inland. They have found artifacts in the area. Again, cannot be decisively linked to the colony of Roanoke, but a little bit, two weird things with that. John White made a map, and a lot of times maps back then had patches that would, just kind of be concealing minor mistakes, so you can go over there and fix it without redoing the whole map. Nobody had given a second thought to the patch on one of his maps until 2011. They removed the patch, and they found underneath it had the symbol for a fort exactly where they were planning on having it. And over the patch, on the top of it, in invisible ink, there was another symbol for the fort. And a lot of times they would do this because the Spanish would...
Wait, they have his map?
Yeah.
Like his exact map he used? That's crazy.
I know. A lot of the stuff survived. But a lot of times they would kind of conceal these things because the Spanish would intercept these maps, and they didn't want them to know where they were because the Spanish controlled a lot of the territory, I guess. Yeah. So that's one aspect. He seemed to believe that there was a fort there. And then secondary, I think this was it was in the 1900s, maybe like the 1930s. There was a stone that somebody discovered. It is yet to be determined if it's authentic or not. But from what I heard, it would be very hard to kind of weather it to make the weathering on the stone look the same as the weathering on the writing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the writing appeared to be from John White's daughter, Elizabeth Dare, just kind of like outlining the death of her husband and her son. So the weird thing about this, if you were going to make a hoax and create a fake rock that had this writing and make people think that it was from the lost colony of Roanoke, where would you put it?
Roanoke.
You'd put it on Roanoke, right?
Yeah.
This rock was discovered a mile away from Site X, which is what they call the fort area that would have been 50 miles inland.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy. Like, that's why, in my opinion, if you were going to be a hoaxer, which this was not common knowledge back then, and you were going to make this fake rock, try and convince everyone that it was from the lost colony, why would you put it 50 miles inland?
Yeah.
So that's why I think that is authentic. I think they did make their way inland. They created that fort, and they were just kind of chilling there.
It is funny because it's one of those things that's like, it's not like they don't know because the guy just never went and looked. Like, they just never went and looked.
He couldn't make it back.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, he's basically like, yeah, I did all this shit and I don't know what ended up happening. I don't know where they're at. I went back, they disappeared. When in reality, he could have just tried harder and looked. Like, literally 50 miles nowadays is just, I mean, back then, they could have ripped a horse for like a couple hours probably.
I don't even know if they were bringing horses on these ships.
I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, it is funny though. Like, it's all from John White's account. He could have been a fucking liar.
That's the funniest part about it to me, is that it's like this one guy. It's like, yeah, well, no shit. No one knows what happened because this guy wasn't there for any of it.
I know.
He left the whole time. Everyone, they need to find somebody that was there. But
I think that's where all the allure comes from, though. I mean, you have no accounts. You find artifacts, but nothing's decisively linked. So now you're dealing with, okay, maybe a couple people did go to Croatoan. Maybe they assimilated with the locals and had descendants. Maybe the rest of them did go inland, and that's why John White was convinced. I mean,
so he left his daughter there when he went back. He left his family there.
Correct. His pregnant daughter, who then had a kid.
I could see it being a
Virginia
thing.
After the Queen.
Okay, I could see it being a thing where, like, most people integrated into the tribe, but then like his family was like, we need to go to that fort he was talking about. It's gonna be so much better there. Like, they were, because there was a drought where they were at, so maybe they're like, it's gonna be so much better there. And then they were like, maybe persuaded a couple people to go with them there, and then just died there. And then the rest went in. We're like, no, I'm just going to these people that have food and are farming. Like, I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah, no, it definitely could be. To me though, that rock is very kind of decisive. Again, if you were going to be a hoaxer, there's no reason for you to place it there. And the guy that found the rock, never heard from again.
What
they killed him.
To him?
No, I don't know. But that's just what the video
is. The rock still there today?
I don't know.
We should go visit there.
Yeah, we got to go see this rock.
10,000 subs, and we go to the Rock of Roanoke.
10,000 Roanoke Rock.
We go to Roanoke Rock.
Yeah, it feels very odd to have placed it there. I feel confident that they went in there, but regardless, I mean, I just find this fascinating. Like, stuff back there that doesn't have a decisive answer one way or another. You're dealing with limited accounts, and like you said, how do we still have these maps? Like, what little documents do we have? It's mind-blowing that they kept all this. Because I guess it would
we talked about this last episode, or like when we were talking about the murder mysteries, like it's literally how they're just guessing by half of it. I feel like it's kind of funny.
But think about how much history happened. It would be pretty consequential. I would keep the documents from the first colony we tried to settle in the New World, but like the fact that it lasted that long and we still have these maps, mind blowing. Yeah. And we're dealing off this limited information, and like everybody's still scrambling trying to figure out answers because you have nothing to go off of. Yeah, you're just scrambling around in Virginia.
True.
But that's the Lost Colony. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments.
Yeah. Again, thanks for coming along with us. That's going to do it for episode 22. I do want to, if you made it this far, we love you and we appreciate you. And you're going to get to know a sneak peek. Like, next year, we have big things in store. Big things in store. It's going to be season 1 coming out first week of January. First week of January, and going to be some improvements. We're going to do something big. Season 1's on the horizon. I hope you guys, I think the quality's better too. Let us know if the quality's a little bit better. This guy found out the new iPhone has a camera button on the side today. Thought it was a SIM card. But no, we appreciate you, and we're going to keep this thing rolling, and love you.
They always said the kid couldn't make it like a vasectomy.
Never done drugs, but I got a white cane. Turn this shit up loud, migraine, split your brain.